She like lucid be my dreams. Said you love me, so I'm sure you know the means. It's like I'm living all inside a movie in a dream. Sequels to my life entirely up to me. Slowly suffocating, do you notice how it feels? Baby, can you help me while I'm running through the field like
wearing Bucks green after the blockbuster trade, making a home in Milwaukee.
He is a superstar.
Imagine pairing two players, both of whom are either all-stars or superstars, yet right from the get-go, you could tell they were...
Can I break it? Wait, I'm not gonna go on a long tangent, but bro, can we stop acting like this Dame trade was like the death of Milwaukee and all of this fuckery? Like, bro, Milwaukee was never a championship team from the get-go. I know they won in 2021, but they won, my nigga, everyone got, like, you know how they did that with the Raptors where niggas was like, oh, everyone was injured when the Raptors... I'm gonna let this play, I'm gonna get on my rant after.
...doomed to fail. Whether it's a clash in personalities or playstyles, or maybe the rest of their team was simply not built properly. In this video, we're going to take a look at 5 different NBA duos in recent years who were destined to flop.
I didn't go on a tangent about Milwaukee.
They failed.
Oh, look at that. Quick hands by Dame forces the turnover to Giannis.
I'm going on a tangent. I'm telling y'all niggas right now.
Now, I will admit, upon Damian Lillard's arrival to Milwaukee, I thought they'd be a fantastic duo. You combine the NBA's most physically dominant big with one of the best scoring point guards ever, you should expect positive results. But there's one thing that's...
This is Giannis' first time playing with an offensive guard. So when he sets screens, he don't even set screens for real, thinking that nigga's going to create his own shot because he used to play with like Eric Bledsoe and Drew Holiday. So his screens are ass and he'll just cut to the basket trying to get a lay or whatever.
Flipped everyone's mind.
Giannis still a demon,
but caused this duo to not excel.
He didn't adapt as well.
They are incompatible in the pick and roll. What do I mean by this exactly? So, Damian Lillard is a pick-and-roll savant. In his final year in Portland, he led the league in points scored as the pick-and-roll ball handler, with the highest efficiency out of anyone who scored at least 10 points a game in the pick-and-roll. Statistically, he was the best pick-and-roll guard in the entire league. Then, you fast forward a year later, when Dame joined the Bucks, his effectiveness in the pick-and-roll plummeted. So, what gives? Giannis happens to be a player who does not like setting picks, and when he does set one, he doesn't do it very well.
What did I say, nigga?
Frequently, when Dame tries to run a pick-and-roll with Giannis, it doesn't end well. More often than not, Giannis prefers to slip the screen and receive the ball to score. Even though he's technically a big man, Giannis actually prefers running the pick and roll himself, not setting screens and rolling for somebody else. This leads to an awkward dilemma. As a result, Dame usually stands in the corner and does nothing. He's never been, an off-the-ball moving player. So when he's not running the pick and roll, it nullifies the strongest part of his game. This is the main reason why this duo did not work. It's not because either of them underachieved, they just didn't feel comfortable enough adjusting to each other's strengths. Instead, they both wanted to play the same way they've played for so many years without adapting.
That's part of it.
There's been heated debates between Blazers and Bucks fans. Some believe Giannis should not have to adjust because he won a championship as the main option doing what he does. Whereas Blazers fans argue you're not using Dame in the correct way. You gotta run more pick and roll because
those niggas want on some bullshit.
I'm very good offensively.
I'm gonna get
both sides kind of have a point. Dame actually had his best games without Giannis on the court, since he was able to return to his roots and dominate the pick and roll. Regardless, there were more problems with the Bucks that set this pair up for failure. For example, the supporting cast was at its worst it's ever been in the era of Giannis. Like, if you have to rely on Gary Trent Jr. to win you games, I don't think your team is in position to contend. You add injuries and age on top of that, being the second oldest team in the league, it's not surprising they broke down by the time the playoffs started. Plus, Giannis and Dame are also quite susceptible to injury. It impacted both of them more than they let on. But overall, it was their inability to complement each other's games that ultimately saw this duo collapse.
Okay, let me go on a tangent about the Bucks right quick. I'm gonna get off of it. The Bucks were never a championship caliber team. I don't give a fuck what y'all niggas say. I know they won in 2021, but listen. 2020, if y'all remember the bubble, y'all say, oh, the Lakers, bubble ring. The bubble has nothing to do with niggas winning a ring. I'm gonna keep it 100. I say that the Lakers wouldn't have won because of the 2020 shutdown, but it's not because of the bubble. That whole bubble ring is bullshit. The Lakers wouldn't have won that year because, my nigga, there's no fucking way AD and LeBron were gonna stay healthy that full fucking season. That season shut down for 5... Bro, remember that Rudy Gobert touched the mics and shit? The season shut down for 5 months, so they had bare time to rest. Every season that they played together, except for the 1 year they went to the Western Conference and got swept by fucking Denver, those niggas got injured. They didn't have one healthy regular postseason together, except for that one in Denver. In the Western Conference Finals. Western Conference Finals. Every single one, they got injured. So the only reason to me why them niggas even got that far that year was because of the shutdown that was 5 months. They had time to rest and, I feel like they played a whole 82 game season, then went to the playoffs and then played another 18 games to go to the finals, another 100 games in the season. One of them niggas would have got injured. AD did get injured in 2020, but he was able to play through it. Had they played the whole season out, I don't think they would have been healthy. This takes me to the Bucks. Because the Bucks, after the 2020 bubble, remember, it got shut down for 5 months. The Bucks went and played for what? No, after the season ended, right? From the bubble, right? The next season started in like 40 days. So nobody had time to rest, nothing. So if you remember that playoffs in 2021, everybody was injured. The Lakers that year they went to the first round. They were whooping the Suns' ass. The Suns made the finals that year. They were slapping the Suns. They were up like 2-0 on the Suns or 2-1. AD got injured. They didn't win another game. The Suns got out the second round. The next round the Suns went against the Denver Nuggets. Jamal Murray had torn his ACL early that season. He was out. So they beat them. Then they go to the Western Conference Finals. Kawhi Leonard had tore his ACL. So they're versing the Clippers. The Suns were going against the Clippers with no Kawhi, just Paul George. So they go to the finals. The Bucks, they were getting slapped by the Nets. This is with Kyrie, Harden, all them niggas. All those niggas, both those niggas got injured, and they still got took to 7 by KD. And barely won in OT. That nigga's foot, if that nigga foot was a little bit behind the line, they would have lost. Then they verse the Atlanta Hawks in the conference finals. Go to the finals versus the Suns and win. So the Bucks front office, they get confident like, yo, we have a championship caliber team. No, you didn't. No, you never did. You were fortunate and you were blessed. Your team was healthy. All other niggas got injured, bro. They were not gonna beat the fucking Nets. Even Jeff Teague was on that Bucks team. He was like, nigga, we knew we were gonna lose. Them niggas got injured and they got lucky and won. See what I'm saying? Can't be mad at it, but I'm just saying they were never a championship team to begin with. Even to use as an example, look at the 4 teams in the Western Conference Finals that year. It was the Hawks. The Hawks made the fucking the Eastern Conference Finals that year. The Bucks. Then it was the Clippers and the Suns. Now tell me, did any of those niggas ever make the Western Conference Finals again after that? Fuck no, because they had no business being there in the fucking first place. None of them made the West. Not let alone did the Suns or Bucks make the finals again. Neither of them even made the Western Conference Finals again. Or the conference finals again, I mean. When they got Dame, they traded Drew Holiday. It's not Dame's fault, and it's not that they lost the trade. It's that they were underperforming, and they lost as the 1 seed against the Heat. So them niggas were like, oh, we need to get somebody else. We need to get somebody new. We need to get a new star player. And then they blamed it on Mike Budenholzer, and they fired that nigga. He's the one who constructed that whole offense and their whole defense. So then you trade Dame, one of the main niggas who has the ball in their hand, which is the point guard. And now you have a new coach trying to integrate him into their offensive system and their defensive system. But the original coach who fucking designed that system that they play in is fucking gone now. Because they're like, oh, it's this nigga fault. When it wasn't his fault, y'all niggas were never good enough in the first place. See what I'm saying?
Zach LaVine plus DeMar DeRozan.
Like, my bad.
Two
But
different
like,
teams
bro.
in 2 different eras. Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan's partnership. Both
That's why that
Chicago
shit didn't
and
work.
Sacramento have not produced the results their teams hoped.
And they didn't upgrade none of the old niggas. They had like Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton. They didn't get rid of any of them niggas or upgrade any of those positions because they in their mind are like, yo, we're good, we're blessed. We made we just want a chip. But you want a chip because every nigga was injured that year.
Led by these 2 stars, their respective teams made 1 first-round appearance. That was in 2022, where they lost in 5 games.
They were hooping before Lonzo went out, though.
Or losing in the play-ins to teams that they were expected to beat. Especially in 2025 against a Mavs team without Kyrie Irving and a crippled Anthony Davis, who just returned from injury. There's no reason the Kings should be losing that.
Talked about the defensive impact of Anthony Davis. He certainly showed that tonight in their entire team.
There's no excuse anymore for why this duo always underperforms when the stakes are high. Why is that, though? Let's look at DeRozan. He's a guy with a playstyle that's honestly quite soothing to watch when his shots are falling. In an era where the 3-point shot is abundant and pace and space offenses are the standard, the moment DeRozan steps onto the court, his entire team's game plan changes. Instead of excessive ball movement, you end possessions with a DeRozan ISO. Instead of...
The issue with DeRozan, he's an amazing player. Don't get it twisted. DeRozan is an amazing player, and I actually think he's hit a point where he's kind of slept on. Even when he was on the fucking Bulls, he was balling out. The issue with this nigga is that all you have to do is have somewhat of a 3 ball. Even if you shoot like 30%, 32% from the 3, no one needs you to be Curry. But just at least try and take a shot, from a 1-2 shots from there to space the floor out more. That's all he needs to do. He doesn't need to be efficient. He doesn't need to be excellent. He doesn't need to be good. He doesn't even need to be average. Just shoot that bitch. Shoot that bitch. So that they just can't sag off and leave you wide open. Even Westbrook. Westbrook is not hitting threes at a high rate. Right now, he is currently. But we all know, historically, Westbrook is not a good 3-point shooter. But just the fact of him even shooting it, just attempting to shoot it, it makes niggas not just sag off and completely clog the paint. That was the same issue that Ben Simmons had. You have to at least be able to. You don't even need to make your shot. Just shoot them so that they at least just can't fully leave you open. That's the issue with
playstyle that the Kings embraced during the
it
era
clogs
of
the
Aaron Fox.
fucking
Now have a
paint.
more methodical, slower-paced half-court offense. These are not inherently bad changes. There are plenty of teams, like the Nuggets, for example, who found success with a slower offense and less threes. But DeRozan is not Jokic. You combine it with his lack of a three-point shot, it results in every team he's been on being in the bottom half in three-point efficiency. In the 2022-23 season, the year when the Kings made the playoffs, they were 6th in three-point attempts and 9th in percentage. In the 2024-25 season, with DeRozan as the main guy, they dropped to 24th in attempts and 20th in percentage. In fact, their entire team, all of their role players, experienced a significant regression.
I don't think it was only DeRozan. These niggas, mind you, this is even before them niggas were just missing their shots. All of those niggas, Herter, Murray, all them niggas who were shooting high clips before from three, they literally just weren't making their shots.
Would call it
it's not all DeRozan,
but it's not. It's because when DeRozan is on
the DeRozan plays a part, but they were just not making shots.
Their shots are harder, and thus their percentages drop. There's no doubting DeRozan's talent and
that's
his
part of the
skill
reason.
in scoring, but he does it in a way that's the antithesis of what made this Kings team successful in the first place. On the other hand, you have Zach LaVine, who, much like DeRozan, has a score-first mentality, and he was never a good passer either. While he excels moving off the ball, LaVine has not benefited from being in the off-ball role. The best passer, the guy with the best court vision on his team, is their center, Domantas Sabonis. He's used as a tool to help this duo score.
This nigga doesn't shoot enough.
In Sacramento, Sabonis might possibly be the Kings' best player, but he has never been the go-to guy at the end of games.
His
As a
fault.
result, you're left with this disaster duo of DeRozan and LaVine.
The issue with Sabonis is really like a baby Jokic. I want to say it's like you have Sengun, then you have Sabonis, then you have Jokic. They're all very similar to an extent, but Sabonis doesn't shoot the ball enough. Sabonis could be a 25 and 14 nigga, and like 25, 14 and 6. He doesn't command the ball enough, bro. You know this nigga last season he was like 75th in field goal attempts or some crazy shit like that. Why are you taking such little shots when you're one of the star players on the team? Shoot the ball, nigga.
Trying to carry the team in high-pressure situations, which neither of them have ever been good at. Heck, LaVine made the playoffs just once.
Like, I'm sorry to keep on, but imagine Jokic, right? Jokic is amazing, right? He'll get his guys involved, and he'll snag boards, he'll do that. Sabonis does it too, right? But imagine if Jokic just refused to shoot now and get his own buckets. That's what Sabonis does. Sabonis just need to be more aggressive and get more buckets and take more shots, bro. He should easily be like a 25 to 26 and like 12 type of nigga, bro. I'm telling you.
Is 10 plus years in the NBA.
Like, let me see a shot attempts this year.
In Chicago, it certainly won't work in Sacramento. Devin Booker plus Kevin Durant. When Durant joined the Phoenix Suns, it was about a year and a half after they reached the finals. On paper, it seemed like the addition of Durant would
I'm gonna go on a tangent about this shit too.
dominate
Holy
a
fuck.
post-Golden State Western Conference. In fact, according to the odds, right after the trade for Durant, the Suns jumped to the second best odds to win the championship. Even the most pessimistic sportsbooks were very high on the Suns, and even with Durant's injury, the Suns were still favored to come out of the West once he recovers.
The Suns roster fucked this up.
Durant able to hit, and Booker fades and hits. Will fire and hit. Jittering into the paint. Booker. Oh my!
In the second round, this two-man duo, especially Booker, put up the most insane performances I've ever seen. Just the way they were hitting mid-range shots like no other. It was a throwback to a style of basketball that we thought was extinct. They dominated the Nuggets from a single area. Unfortunately, they still lost the series in 6 games, and that's where their biggest flaw was exposed. In the process of acquiring Durant, the Suns gave up all of their key role players, who helped them reach the finals in the first place.
And that's
The rest
okay.
of their roster
That's
was basically
okay.
a shell of a former.
That's, you know what I'm saying? Another thing. That's what helped them reach the finals in the first place. That year that they beat Denver, Jamal Murray wasn't even there. He wasn't even there. That's what I'm saying, where that season got so many niggas' heads fucked up. They had no business being there. They were right in making this KD trade, but I'm gonna tell you where they fucked
So
up.
they rely too much on Booker and Durant. Over the years, this duo saw several changes with their roster. For example, DeAndre Ayton, after many years of scrutiny, got traded for Yusuf Nurkic, who was somehow even softer and
Fuck
less
up.
effective.
Absolute fuck up.
Then Chris Paul got traded in a
This is what fucked their team. Goes back to what I say. Chris Paul. It goes back to the Nets. Wait, KD and Harden. It was the same exact situation. Harden, if y'all remember, the fucking Nets went against the Boston. The year they went against the Bucks and they were up 2-0 and niggas got injured. The first round they went against Boston. They beat them in 5. And nigga, Harden was putting up like 27 and 11. Kyrie was putting up like 25. KD was putting up like 30, 33 or some shit. That big three only played 16 games together. They were 13-3 in those games. Harden was the nigga facilitating the offense. Remember I said earlier in the other video with the Mavericks that Kyrie is not a facilitator. He goes to the Suns. Chris Paul's their facilitator. Them losing to the Nuggets that year in 6 is not bad at all. Chris Paul was the main nigga orchestrating and facilitating that whole offense. These niggas go and trade Chris Paul for Bradley Beal. Yes, he was regressing, but if you can't get a player that can fit this nigga's role, do not just trade for another nigga. That's when they fucked up the whole roster. They lost in the second round. They lost to the Nuggets in 6. Do you know how much games the Nuggets lost that year? 2. Aside from that Sun series. The Suns gave them two L's. That is tied for the amount of losses they took that whole postseason. I think they beat the Timberwolves in 5. So they lost 1 game. Then they went to the second round. They lost 2 games to the Suns. They go to the Lakers. They sweep them 4-0. And then they went to the finals and played against the Heat. And they won in 5. So they lost 2 games. 1 to the Timberwolves, 1 to the Heat. The Suns by themselves took 2 games. The Suns series alone tied all the other L's they had that whole postseason. So they weren't bad. But KD got traded at the trade deadline. He just came. They didn't even have time to gel for real. And they didn't have the offseason to go and fill up and get more role players that they lost in the KD trade. So as soon as they traded this nigga, they fucked up their team completely. Their team was done. That's what fucked them up. Because now you have all of these niggas. You have KD, Booker, and Beal. None of these niggas can facilitate the offense. And all of these niggas are just ISO balling. The same shit that happened after Harden got traded from the Nets. After beating the Celtics in 5 on the Nets, the next year they go, Harden got traded to the Sixers. Those niggas lost it. Those niggas got swept by the Celtics. Because KD and Kyrie just ISO balling. It's the same shit. Booker, KD, and Beal just ISO balling.
That brought them Bradley Beal. Their team got older as well with the addition of Eric Gordon. Essentially, in the span of a few years, the Suns went from a promising young rising squad to an old washed-up roster with players who simply did not care anymore. The result? This dynamic scoring duo accomplished nothing more than 1 second-round appearance. Instead of waiting, developing, growing the young core around Booker, they traded away everything, including 4 unprotected first-round picks. That's the worst thing about getting a new owner. They don't know what they're doing. Same thing with the fucking Mavericks. They just bought the shit. This shit is a business to them, a tax write-off, and something that can generate them some bread. They don't actually know what the fuck is going on. One with unlimited money to spend, because you end up spending like crazy without any strategy and taking on ridiculous contracts. Joel Embiid plus Paul George.
This is too early.
Yes, the Glass brothers. Ever since Embiid's MVP season, his impact on the NBA landscape has been non-existent.
I can't even in good faith say that this is like a fail.
Sheer thought process of pairing 2 of the most injury-prone stars in the entire league is comical to begin with.
It was dumb, yeah.
When you realize this duo makes up nearly 70% of the entire team's salary cap. I think when the Sixers initially gave George a $200+ million deal, the expectation was Embiid would be healthy too, and this duo would have a chance to lead the Sixers to a title. With Daryl Morey stating, quote, George would give us the additional firepower alongside Embiid and Maxey to take on the Celtics. However, midway through the season, when it was obvious they couldn't stay on the court, the Sixers did a 180 and pivoted to the old tanking strat. Instead of rushing these two back, they decided to embrace the tank, losing 14 of their final 15 games, and fell so hard down the standings that they ended up with decent odds for a high lottery pick.
Which is good.
The Philadelphia 76ers select VJ Edgecombe from Bimini, Bahamas, and Baylor University.
They selected VJ Edgecombe with the 3rd pick. The Sixers' original plan was to build a contender around Embiid, but since that plan basically failed, they initiated their backup plan. A franchise led by Tyrese Maxey, along with young upcoming players like Jared McCain and VJ Edgecombe. By stockpiling a plethora of young talent, the Sixers' future looks much, much better than their present.
Yeah. I can't really say that the Paul George and Embiid shit failed. Those niggas literally just have not fucking played together. They haven't been healthy. But say that, like, give them time. If they get their surgeries done, they sit out. I think they did their surgery already, but they sit out. They get some time. They come. We don't need Embiid to have his MVP season. Like, niggas don't need that. They don't need that nigga to have no MVP ass season and ball out like that. They don't need Paul George to average 25. Bro, if Paul George can give you 19 to 20 on decent, efficient shooting, and Embiid could give you like 24 and 12, alongside Maxey, Edgecombe, and McCain and Quentin Grimes, they're gonna be comp.
Paolo Banchero.
I can't even say they really failed because they literally haven't fucking played together.
Plus
and these niggas are just too young. They haven't even really developed at all.
Wagner. Yeah, it might be controversial to label these two all-star level players as a duo that's set up to fail. They're both very, very good, but upon joining the Magic, they were indeed set up for failure, with most of the blame going to the team for improperly building around them, which leads to their weaknesses being exploited year after year. On paper, the Magic have two 6'10" versatile studs, the ideal archetype for the modern NBA. On the court, sadly, their shaky shooting ability and their heavy reliance on taking contested shots have not been a formula for success. The team wins games because of their defense, the entire team's defense from top to bottom. They are arguably the most disciplined team in the league. Offensively, it's been a monumental struggle. As a team, the 2024-25 season saw their three-point percentage hit a new low, a putrid 31.8%, by far the worst three-point shooting team in the league. Due to a lack of shooting from their star duo, the spacing is non-existent. Even players like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who shot like 40% from three in the previous 4 years, he came to Orlando and immediately recorded his worst shooting season in a decade. You could ask the question, are Banchero and Wagner struggling to shoot threes because the team spacing is so bad? Or is the fact that they're both poor shooters to begin with, and they are the reason why the rest of their team shoots poorly? The floor is so congested, and in a playoff atmosphere, the entire team's stagnant offense gets exploited to no end. There's only so much you can do on defense to stop them. At some point, you need to score, and they can't do that. Because Banchero and Wagner use so many possessions, the Magic don't have a true point guard to run the offense. As great as they are, they always try to find their own shot first. Maybe something needs to change. They need to change, and this entire franchise needs to rethink how to construct a roster around this duo. Normally, I don't like blasting young players for
they have time. They have time.
They're young. They're still learning. But the Magic have been so bad offensively for years now, and it's gotten worse. So you have to wonder, can they ever lift the team to become even an average offensive team?
When did Paolo get drafted? Like 2 seasons ago, no? 2023, right? Or was it 2022?
Well, folks, those were 5 NBA duos.
I didn't look it up right quick. My fault. Bro, Paolo Banchero, when was he drafted? He was drafted 2022. He's good, bro. They got time. Them niggas are young. Wait, let me open that again. Let me just see how old this thing is. He is 23. Bro, they're good, bro. They're good. All right. Yeah, so Sabonis need to take more shots, but Westbrook low-key balling out. But yeah, the Kings, I don't know, bro. A lot of these teams, yeah, they're fucked. Sixers, to me, they're not that fucked. They have they can still incorporate when Embiid come back and is actually healthy. Paul George come back and is actually healthy. They don't need them niggas to play at high ass levels like their primes. They need them niggas to be decent. And if they're decent with all them other niggas and McCain comes back, they might actually be a threat to come out the East. And I know it's like crazy to say that about the Sixers because we know every year these niggas choke somehow, but there's nobody in the East right now. Like everybody's injured. The only niggas in the East they really have to lock in for is the Cavs and Knicks, and those niggas choke as well. So we'll see.
Something, baby, I like just how you blushing. And maybe we could bust it at the function. Turn nothing to something. Wish you could just see the horrors of my life, my upbringing.